Zakia, Soman, you're seeing two sides of the debate. Do you fear that Muslim women once again get caught within this debate? Because it's become a shrill political debate, we don't recognize the importance of having gender-friendly laws. As you said, there are enough elements within the Muslim community who've resisted the codification of personal laws.
Yeah, I think I fully agree with what you're saying, because the spirit is about gender justice and gender equality that has got completely lost in the politicization of this issue. And I also believe that all the political parties need to collaborate on this, because only an inclusive document can point towards the direction of gender justice for India's women. And the 30-day time period given by the Law Commission of India is highly insufficient. It calls for very elaborate deliberations and discussions, and I think it should not be seen, as an opposition versus BJP kind of an issue. Although I agree that this is being raised by the Prime Minister and by the BJP. It's part of their manifesto. It is being raised in the run-up to the 2024 election, which is doing no good, which is only doing...
So you're calling for the debate to be depoliticized in a way. Would you therefore, Flavia, Agnes, at least agree that it's important to trigger off the debate? We can't sweep this issue under the carpet. There is a need sooner or later to resolve these issues without toxic politics.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I agree, and I agree with 2018 recommendations of the 21st Law Commission that every personal law we need to look at and we need to bring in reform. But the point I want to make
here... Who's going to bring the reforms? Parliament has to bring it, ma'am. Flavia, Agnes, who's going to bring the reforms? Who's going to bring the reforms? Parliament will have to do it. There, Sanju Verma is right.
But first you have to discuss it. You cannot impose it on the people. First, we have to discuss it, and we have to have a code ready, draft ready. People have to respond to it point by point, and then only can go ahead with the parliament. But here I want to make one point to Zakia and to the other lady who said about Christian personal law and court divorces, that Hindu law, you can have a marriage without going to court. You can have a divorce without going to court. All customary practices are validated under the Hindu Marriage Act. Now, if such concessions are given to Hindus, and we hail that Hindus have a perfect law, Hindus have a perfect law, Hindus marry again, the statistics show more Hindus get married second time than Muslims. And in such a situation, what is the plight of that second woman? She has absolutely no right. She's called as a concubine, and this is a state in which we are living, where Hindus are being discriminated to such an extent. When we're discussing Muslim law and Muslim women's plight, we also need to discuss Hindu women and Hindu women's plight.
You make an important point which I want to take. You make a very important point that I take to Sanju Verma to conclude. Sanju Verma, are we ready? You see, the Prime Minister today linked it to Muslim women or the state of Muslim women. Are we ready to look at Hindu laws that are seen to be gender unfriendly? Flavia mentioned property laws. She mentions laws. We are going to have to look at across communities. Is there a need? There is a need for a debate. It can't just be rhetoric at a political rally. There needs to be top lawyers, top activists coming together and framing a law. Do you agree or not?
Rajdeep, that was a lengthy question. I will just say this to Flavia. Today we have the Indian Divorce Act of 1869. We have the Christian Marriage Act of 1872. We have the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act of 1936. We have the Hindu Succession Act of 1928. We have the Hindu Guardianship Act of 1956. We have the Hindu Marriage Act of 1955. We have the Muslim Dissolution of Marriage Act 1939. What is the Modi government saying? We are going to codify all these personal laws because it is very difficult each time there is an issue pertaining to marriage, divorce, inheritance, succession, guardianship, for the courts to spend their time on deliberating on each case. And I will just end in 20 seconds by reading out what I feel is one of the most, consummate judgments given recently. It was by Justice Pratibha Singh in 2021 July. She is a judge of the Delhi High Court, and she said, in modern Indian society, which is gradually becoming homogeneous, the traditional barriers of religion, community and caste are slowly dissipating. Such a uniform civil code would be common to all and would enable uniform principles to be applied in matters of marriage, divorce and succession. This will reduce conflicts and contradictions within our society and help us to rise above personal laws, and will specially help our youth who don't need to be burdened by archaic personal laws. This is Justice Pratibha Singh, and I think she, made sense wonderfully well by saying this is not about Hindus, not about Sikhs, not about Christians, certainly not about Asaduddin Owaisi.
Yes, so that's the point. Exactly, ma'am, exactly. Exactly, which is why the Prime Minister need not have only referred therefore to Muslims. Some would argue he should refer to all women, cutting across religions. It is about gender. It is about gender, it's not about religion. Okay. Okay, it should, because it should be gender neutral, as I said. Let me leave it there. I unfortunately cannot now talk over your voice. You will attack me then of haranguing you. Sarvanan, you want 20 seconds. Sarvanan, you want 20 seconds. Sanju Verma's voice down.
Yeah.
20 seconds only.
Yes, Rajdeep, first and foremost, the BJP should ensure that there is homogeneity within the Hindu culture, Hindu religion. There is so much of discrimination going on. They should bring in uniformity the way they treat all the Hindus.
Okay.
It is not, there is no equality of Hindus within the same Hindu culture.